Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is the first time of stopping by. Hi, nice meeting you for the first time. So we are going to be making this beautiful pinafore gown for our princesses today. If it's something you're interested in, please keep watching and I will see you at the end of the video. And so keep watching. So for this video we'll be folding our fabric first. We'll be cutting the down part of it first because it's flay. You don't want to have shortage of fabric by the time you are done cutting the bodice. And you can see how I folded my fabric just like you want to cut your flay. So my fabric is folded into 4. So the next thing we are going to do is to mark our waist measurement divided by 4. And for this I first of all marked at 9 inches, and I'm going to be marking this all around just like you see me do. Or you can just divide your waist measurement by 6 point what again to find your radius. 6.24 to find your radius, but remember you're going to add your allowance. So after marking, I discovered that the measurement I have there is much bigger than my waist measurement, so I decided to do another one, and I just placed my tape to have a rough estimate of what I want, and then I marked at that place and I have the exact measurement that I want. So this measurement will include my waist divided by 4 plus my button allowance and some allowances to plait it, as if you look at the style very well. So I just placed my tape at that line. My waistline is at 13 inches, so I just placed my 13 inches there, and then I'm going to go ahead and mark the remaining inches of my gown, the remaining length of my gown. Or you can as well just deduct your gown, the half length of your gown, and then mark the remaining one, whichever you want to do, or go ahead and do it. So I just marked it out, and that's all, basically all for the flay part. Before we go into the bodies, if you haven't subscribed until this moment, I'll please use my 1 minute to hit on the subscribe button, join the growing family. And to my old subscribers, I say thank you very much for all your support. So I'm just opening one side of the flay so that we'll have a center opening, and this is it after we are done cutting it out. So moving to our bodies, we are going to be cutting it differently, and for this we are cutting our back bodies first because before going ahead to cut the front bodies. And you can see my fabric is folded. It's just 2. So the first thing I did is to mark out the label on my fabric, and meanwhile I am using African print for this, and I am going to go ahead and mark this out, and this is going to start basically like our starting point. And from there I'm going to be going ahead to mark my bust point, which is at 6.5 inches, and then my half length, which is at 13 inches, which is at 12 inches if I'm not mistaken, plus 1 inch allowance for joining. So I'm just extending the line so that you guys will be seeing it well and not get confused in any way while we go on to the tutorial of this pinafore style. So the next thing I did is to take half of my shoulder measurement. That's my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 6 inches. We are not adding any allowance because there is no sleeve. So at that 6 inches, I'm going to extend it to my bust line just like you see me do. Please go ahead and do the same. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to take my bust measurement divided by 4. For those that always ask me the measurement I use, what you have to do is just to measure your child. I have a video on how to measure your child in my channel. You can check it out and I'll put it in my description box. So you measure your child, and the waist measurement divided by 4, that's what I marked there. And then for my shoulder slope, I went down by 1 inch, and I'm going to connect it to our shoulder line. And then I'm going to be connecting the 3 points, my shoulder line and my bust point, with my French curve. You can as well use your hand to do this, but I am using my French curve to do it. And the next thing I'm going to do is to insert my waist measurement divided by 4 as well. I'll mark it and then add my allowance for joining. I added 1.5 inches. You can add 1 or 2 inches depending on how much fabric you work with. I'm just connecting the line from the bust to the waist. And then it's not going to have our normal neckline. So for the neckline from my armhole line, I went in by 2.5 inches. That's from my armhole line, that's where my shoulder line is. From that 6 inches that we marked, I went in by 2.5 inches, and I then connected it to my bust point. And then from that bust point, I went down by 1 inch, and this is going to be for our back neckline. The first one is for the is for the first line is for the back. This one I extended is for the front. Sorry for the mistake. So we're going to cut this out, but we are not cutting the 1 inch we went down with out, because we're going to transfer it to our back neckline. So we are going to cut every other side back. If you have any question, please don't forget to leave it in the comment section, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I hope you are learning one or two from this video. So the next thing I did is to transfer this fabric onto another folded fabric, just like you see me do. And I'm just going ahead to pin this down to hold it in place. And this excess I left here is about 2.5 inches, which is going to be our bottom allowance. So the 1 inch that we marked, remember, we am just extending it to my front bodice, and then the other line I just marked it so that by the time I remove the back bodice, I'm going to just trace it out downward to meet the 1 inch. I hope you understand this. Just look at the video, you will understand it better. So you see what I did? I just removed the back bodies and then extended the line, so I'll be able to see what I am trying to cut out. So this is our front bodies. I am done cutting it out, and the next thing I did is to um duplicate my all my fabrics. If you have your lining at this moment, please make use of your lining. But for me, I just duplicated my fabrics. I'm going to be using the same fabric as my lining, just like you see me do. So the next thing I did is to arrange my fabric front facing front, every piece of it. I make sure that the front of it is facing the front, and then I'm going to go ahead and stitch on my armhole. Remember, it's not going to have a sleeve, and then stitch at my neckline, just like you see me points. So that's how you're going to go ahead and stitch it down for the front bodies and also the armhole. Then for my back bodies as well, I'm going to open it up and then place the front bodies facing. I'm just going to place the front facing front, and I'm going to stitch it down just like you see me do on the back bodies. I'm going to stitch this one down as well at the armhole and then at the neckline. So I'm gonna ahead to stitch all of them down. So the next thing we are going to do is to notch around our armhole. When we have a curve there, I'm going to make notches there, and also make notches at the four corners of the neckline. And the next thing after notching them, the next thing I'm going to do is to turn it inside out and then go ahead to iron it down. And this is it after I was done ironing them. The next thing we are going to do is to stitch our shoulder line, and for this I am going to arrange my fabrics front facing front, and I'll pin this down before going to my sewing machine to stitch the two shoulders. Then the next thing I'm going to do Then the next thing I'm going to do is to arrange our bodies. We are going to be stitching our seam line first today before going ahead because of the button. So I am going to arrange it well and then stitch on our seam line. Remember we added half 1.5 inches, or you can as well remeasure it before you stitch down. So this is it. After I was done with it, the next thing I'm going to do is for us to attach our flame. And for our flare, this is it. The first thing I'm going to do is to fold the flare into two so that we can get our center, the center of the flare. You can as well use your scissors to notch yours, but for me I use my chalk to mark it out, and I'll repeat the same process for my bodies. I folded it into two and then mark the center. So when I was done marking the center, I just extended it to the front a little bit so that I can see what I am trying to do. So the next thing I did is to pin down the two centers. As you can, if you look at it, you can see where it's pinned together. So I just pinned down the center, and then I also went ahead to pin the seam line. That's the opening, the front, the beginning of the fabric. How do I explain it again? Just look at the video, you will understand what I'm trying to say. So once I pin it, I'm going to go ahead and pin other ones, but when you look at it, you see that we have excess, just like we planned at the beginning of the video. So that excess, we're going to plait it little by little into the seam line, preferable at the seam, into the waist, preferable at the seam line, so that by the time if there is any adjustment, it's easier for you to adjust. And I did the same thing for the other side as well. So I just pin it down and then stitch from one end to the other. And this is it after I was done with it. You can see it. If you want to attach your lining, please go ahead at this moment and attach your lining as well. And the next thing I'm going to do is to fold in my button allowance, and for this I fold in 1/2 inch and then fold over again by 1 inches. So the remaining 1 inch is what we are going to use to overlap it after stitching down. You can as well do this before attaching your flare. It will make it easier for you, because it was a little bit difficult attaching this together. So this is it after I was done with it. The next thing I'm going to do is to close it up and then attach my buttonhole and my my buttons. But I don't have buttonhole a machine for attaching buttonholes, so I'm going to be taking it to the market to do this. And that's basically all for this style. And then you're going to serge it down and then stitch it down by 1/2 inch. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you do. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed to my channel, and don't forget to share my videos to family and friends. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.